Hello, friends. It's the Cinemondo podcast with Badass Kathy, Badass Mark, and me, Badass Burk.
Are we going to be demonetized for saying that?
I think maybe. I don't know.
Maybe we will.
But we decided here at Cinemondo, truth in advertising. We are all badasses. We should let people know that we are badasses.
And I feel like for covering a movie with badass in the title, we should be able to say it and show it.
Yes.
Mark looks very badass.
Look at that badass 3D. Wow.
Cool. I love it.
Wow.
Straight face. So
well, the film is called Badass RaviKumar, and we're going to take a look at a song from the film called Tandoori Days by Himesh Reshammiya.
I hope it's 80s style, because I did a video reaction to this with Amit, and it was kind of a fun 80s action movie, kind of like the Lethal Weapon type movies, or those kind of like a sort of comedy action, and it's poking fun at the look and the vibe of these 80s movies. I hope this song carries that over and still has that kind of fun 80s, goofiness.
Cool.
There's nothing better than that, honestly.
Cool.
So good.
Well, let's take a look.
Much left to tap into in the 80s.
So much.
People always kind of they take certain things about the 80s and they do it, and it's called 80s, but there's so much other cool stuff in the 80s.
So good. This movie looks really fun.
Yeah.
Take a look at our trailer reaction, because the movie actually looks really good. So if this song doesn't bring the 80s vibes, we'll go look at the trailer.
Okay. Are we ready?
We are ready.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Ready?
Yes.
And oops.
काम थोड़ा मुश्किल है.
His hair is perfect.
गरीबों के जॉनी लीवर.
अरे इसकी शक्ल राणा से मिलती है.
Who the hell is Rana? I am Shana. कालो संकल, कहाँ छोटी छोटी बातों पर छोटी छोटी गोलियां चला रहे हो? डांसर हो, घुंघरुओं से मारो ना.
Badass song. So good. I love how they made it look really like green.
Like green screen.
It's perfect. I love it so much. Here we go.
भीगी 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 रात में तू
White,
मेरा
yeah.
जुगनू अंगार भरी में लैला तू मेरा मजनू. Your love is my diamond that fires up the sky.
Dance wise. He's like, I'm not dancing. Glasses are made.
Boob shaking.
He's like, come over here. This is kind of disturbing. What is happening? That was hilarious. Okay. You definitely need to watch the trailer, because they had a lot more of that fun stuff that looked very 80s style, and you could tell they really tried to dial that in.
Well, all I can say is your love is my diamond that fires across the sky.
Yeah.
That's very accurate.
Well, the song, I don't know if this was intentional or not, but the song seems, I hate to use the word like low energy, but
It was very chill.
I mean, compared to some of the Indian music sequences that I've seen,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you sort of go beyond the word energy into some other realm. It's over energy, but this was like under energy for me. It seemed like the dance moves were very minimal, and the music seemed kind of minimal compared to a lot of the music that I hear in Indian films where it's so beautifully produced and so full and rich and wall of sound kind of vibe to it. This one just had that, you know, that side stick snare sound, and then a synth bass, you know, the doop 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 doop, you know, and then the singing, and it seemed like very low amount of instruments, like under production.
Like
and I wonder
80s
if that was
style?
intentional because they wanted it to sound a little bit like synth pop, you know, 80s kind of. But
I think, well,
but
it
then
also,
it had that sort of syncopation that you hear in a lot of the Indian music. The
Interesting.
You know,
hey Burke, badasses don't dance.
Yeah,
maybe
you're right.
that's part
I
of
think
it.
he's being
Yeah.
chill. I think that was intentional because he's coming in. He's like, I'm gonna just be like above it all, and tell that woman to bring her boobs over here. That's
Right.
pretty much what it was.
That's
the shaky
that
boobs.
was
Bring them over here.
that was the only sort of, you know, energy part of it. You know,
As it always is.
Her
was
cleavage.
her. She was a bit like
High energy
but,
cleavage, low energy song.
I think it really fits the vibe, though. I think you're right, Bert. I think that bringing that in, that kind of thinner production, so it sounds more 80s and more legit. And this course, sort of like with all the action, this is probably the break. Like this is probably like, this is where I'm just going to have a good time and relax. It's almost like this is their vacation. They're like Tandoori Days. It sounds like some of you sit around the pool and eat good food and drink, and you know.
Tandoori
So
Days,
he's just
that's
having
what
kind
I'm
of a, you know what? He's busy jumping out of windows. He does not want to be jumping around on the dance floor. I mean, he's tired.
but what is the like what can we gain from analyzing what the words Tandoori Days means? Is it a play on like the food, like tandoori chicken, or something that's kind of like American people would recognize that word tandoori, and that's like, oh, that's Indian, sort of like if you made a movie about any other country's culture and you use the name of their food,
Right?
you know what I mean? Is it like what I mean?
To me, it means like what Tandoori Days means to me, just like it's like a carefree sort of like, let's, you know,
Like Margaritaville. Tandoori Days.
Right.
Hanging out. I mean, he definitely is wearing all white. He's having fun with the girls. It's like, this is like when you're looking at the movie, which is, I'll show you a poster. That's like this. Wah! He's got a chainsaw. There's blood everywhere. It's action. There's going to be this nice break. I hope that it may also be a credit sequence. We don't know.
80s type
item number.
picture, like
Yeah.
very much like a Lethal Weapon vibe to it there.
They're really leaning into it. I love that.
But I wonder if there's a clay. I mean, tandoori is the clay oven, right? So I wonder if
Yeah.
there's a clay oven in this movie. You know?
Yeah.
But
80s
it's-
type picture, it says. So they're
80s type.
like, they want to make sure you know that this is supposed to be 80s, which I think is funny.
What is
They
that
put
after?
that in
Is
there.
it 80s type KJ?
K1. I think that's actually the 80s type K1. I think that might be the production company.
Mm,
Oh,
At least that's what this felt like that came up. Like it's
This is kind of modern. You got like kind
it's
of
interesting. He's
Well, he's got the-
definitely an 80s style Ferrari or whatever that is.
yeah.
yeah,
Um,
Can
His
you
hair-
imagine the designers getting notes on this? Can we add like one more explosion?
Can we make the car way too small for him so he
Can
looks
we make the helicopter blowing up?
exactly? They got big explosion, and then we have this one. This is the newest one, which
Wow,
I
look
think
at
is
that.
hilarious.
That gun, 4-barrel gun.
The gun in the trailer is nuts.
And
It's
they're really
nuts.
pushing, they're really making sure
well,
5 barrels. They're really making sure that we know that this is retro,
Yes.
everyone. It's 80s retro, y'all.
It's
and also
retro.
this got the tandoori color.
Yeah.
Tandoori color, and it also has that. It sort of looks like a poster you would have done in the 80s where you didn't have Photoshop yet, so everything was photo composited, so you weren't able to really
Oh.
blend it. So that I appreciate the attention to detail.
Well, like in the movie that you saw, the guy was swinging down the, he was like swinging along the zip line, zip lining with his
love that.
hand,
Yeah,
and it just looked, the physics were off, like he was
Yeah.
holding himself like this while he's sliding down,
100%.
and
It's
it
so
looked
good.
total green screen, like the lighting didn't match.
Right.
It's like, is that intentional, or is that just sort of mediocre special effects? Or
No, I think it's because as we know, Indian movies are very polished. So if they
Yeah.
wanted it to be, they could. But
Yeah.
I think
they
they're
definitely-
going for a vibe, you know.
I think it looks
I
really
hope
fun.
so. Oh, I hope so. That would
I
be so
hope
fun.
It'd be so good. I know.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this one. It looks like it's gonna be a blast. So,
Yeah.
well, thank you,
And-
badass Burk, badass Mark. This was so
You
badass.
got it. I'm getting hungry. Give me some
I know. I
tandoori
want some
chicken.
tandoori right now. Good.
All right, everybody.
There's
Look
the
at this.
true badass. Of the group.
Badass Burke scares me. I've got to go now. Frightened, and I have to leave.